I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but since we did our Purity Coffee episode and interview, I do have a cup of Purity Coffee in the afternoon and feel so good about it. I don't know about you, Amber, but for me, that interview changed the way I look at coffee generally. I used to feel so guilty. And if I had one, I felt like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now that I have the information from doing the interview, if you choose the right coffee, right? Clean.
I think that's the messaging is really it's about the quality of the coffee, not about necessarily that coffee is the problem. Welcome to the WellDrop, your home for owning your wellness. Each episode, we share drops of wellness wisdom and actionable tips to help elevate your everyday life. Today, this is a special episode of the Mini Drop as we are honoring our co-host, Dina. It is her birthday. Actually, it's going to be tomorrow, so we're releasing it a day early. And I thought it would be really fun to dive into Dina's, home hacks. Let's get to know Dina a little bit better and kind of hear about what her go-tos are.
Amber knows I do this kicking and screaming. And birthdays are, I love aging, but I don't know, birthdays are, anyway, but this will be fun.
I know. For some reason, I'm not like the biggest birthday person either. Maybe because it's sort of a summer birthday, but I always think it's great to celebrate people, celebrate the good times as much as possible.
True.
I think people are great at showing up in the bad, but I believe in like making that extra effort in the good.
You are much better at that than me. Yes.
Inquiring minds want to know. Let's start off with your daily rituals. What happens when Dina wakes up in the morning? What is the first thing that you do? And that's something you do
there's
every day.
Usually my youngest in my bedroom waking me up.
Well, that's a daily ritual.
Oh, no, actually, it is very nice. The first thing, I usually get a hug at about 6:15 in the morning from him, who comes in and hops in the bed with us. So yes, that is a lovely way to start the day. And, as all moms know, then it's up and at 'em. I don't have time for meditation in the morning or things of that nature. I would love to work towards that at some point. Not there at the moment. We're up and getting ready and, don't have a ton of time. But one of the first things that I do is when I get downstairs is to drink a big glass of water with chlorophyll, with Bare Root Remedies chlorophyll, which I love, which we've talked about on the show. Chlorophyll is great for your blood. It's great for cleansing. It helps me feel, I love putting something green in my body first thing to alkalize my body. There's lots of different things you can do. You could also do, warm water with lemon or apple cider vinegar. So any of those, I think, kind of lead towards the same goal. I love the chlorophyll because it also has a mint taste. So it's kind of fresh and bright and a great way to start the day. And the water is never too cold. Room temperature, not to shock the body first thing in the morning, but at least 8 to 16 ounces. That's my own goal. But I highly recommend listening to the Connor Morgan episode if you haven't already, and she talks about the high quality of her products. And I think you really can feel it when you're using it. So that's definitely one of my first go-tos. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but since we did our Purity Coffee episode and interview, I do have a cup of Purity Coffee in the afternoon and feel so good about it. I don't know about you, Amber, but for me, that interview changed the way I look at coffee generally. I used to feel so guilty. And if I had one, I felt like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now that I have the information from doing the interview, if you choose the right coffee, right, clean.
I think that's the messaging is really it's about the quality of the coffee, not about necessarily that coffee is the problem. Yep. I think I also for myself, I've been drinking clean coffee for, I would say almost 3 years now. But it was such an epiphany for me when I realized how toxic coffee was and the mold in it. Sort of everything clicked of like why I felt so crappy after drinking coffee from any conventional place out there until I started making coffee at home and choosing better ingredients. Same. I don't really feel guilty. It's not necessarily some indulgent, or it's a pleasant indulgence in a sense, but not a guilty indulgence, which I think is what you're saying too.
Yeah. And I love Purity has satchels, packets that you can use. So if you're traveling, you can take it with you anywhere. It's very easy. You don't have to. I don't have a coffee grinder in my house. You don't have to have one to enjoy their coffee. And so I don't do that first thing in the morning, but usually around midday, I will have a cup of coffee. And I really find that I don't feel badly after having, like you said,
And
if
you
it's
could fall asleep at night.
Totally. Yes.
Because that's a problem for some people. But I think that has to do with the quality of the coffee, not necessarily. I guess we've just gotten so far away of what coffee was.
Yeah.
Right. When it first came on the scene.
Yeah.
So finding coffee, that is, even if, you don't choose purity, but something that is organic, that is third party tested. These are things you want to check on the labels, that the companies are being as transparent as possible, because it does make a difference.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Are you looking for a simple way to enhance your health and feel years younger? You might be surprised to learn that one of the best longevity hacks is also one of the simplest, by increasing your mineral intake. A staggering 97% of Americans have at least one mineral deficiency. It's not just a statistic, it's a wake up call to take action for your health. The best part is you can start transforming your health today in just 30 seconds each morning. Get ready to feel and look 10 years younger. Imagine, turn back the clock on your skin's aging, boost your brain function, enhance sleep quality, and speeding up muscle recovery, all with a simple morning routine. Beam Minerals' unique formula includes flavonoids that bind to minerals that enhance the bioavailability and ensuring rapid delivery to your cells. Visit Beam Minerals now and use our exclusive code DINA, DINA, at checkout to get 20% off your first order. Elevate your health and longevity with Beam Minerals. It's that simple. Give your body what it needs. Give yourself the gift of longevity and vitality with Beam Minerals. Your future self will thank you. Go to beamminerals.com and use code DINA for 20% off.
And you feel the difference in your body. You feel less jittery. You feel there's not so much of like a high and a crash.
Right.
It gives you, and like you said, I look forward to it. It's my indulgence, not indulgence.
You're right. We have to come up with a term of what that is.
And then lastly, in terms of home hacks, is one of the easy. That's not true. Sorry. But I guess one of the least costly ways to be well is to make sure you are actually sitting down and enjoying your meals. And for me, that's not possible for most meals, but I try really hard to get my family to sit down to dinner together. No phones at the table is our rule. And I've had a lot of kids come into my house, friends and stuff, and normal, not, they come and they're on their phones at the table. I'm like, no, if you're sitting at our house for dinner, your phone goes away from the table. You put it down far away. In our interview with Dina Barcelas, she talked about how just setting the setting for your dinner can make a huge difference in how your body absorbs the food that you're eating, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you sit down and you acknowledge and you're grateful for the food that's in front of you and you're not inhaling it down, your body actually has time to absorb it and to process it and to use it in the best way possible. And part of it is also eating with people you love and sitting there and enjoying that time together is just so good for you. And a way that I feel like is so, at least financially accessible for so many families. I know scheduling wise, it can be really difficult, and with work and after school activities and all of that. And we don't do it every night in my house, but I try really hard to at least make sure that happens a few times a week. And that's something that I really treasure. And I think, I know I'll miss a lot when my kids are out of the house.
And I think that's such a beautiful message. It's funny, post-COVID, because of the way work from home is, my husband was never around when the kids would eat dinner. And now I find that he's home at least a couple nights a week, even if it's just one or two. It's better than it used to be 0. So it feels like a lot. And it is so nice to have the family together in order to sit down to dinner. And they do say it really helps, I think, with the kids' anxieties, and especially as they become teenagers, some sense of comfort, that they will communicate more with their parents if you have those family dinner moments, which I thought was really fascinating. Went to Parent Talk and they talked about that. aside from also the digestion, like you said, sitting down, because I always yell at my husband, he wants to stand and eat. Like, you actually need to sit down to eat. You should actually, I learned in India, you should sit down to drink. Like,
Oh,
drinking
wow.
water, standing, not so good for you. You should actually be sitting down for the water to absorb better in your body, which I never thought about.
And I would say also, if you can't do dinner, I do know families that do breakfast together. I know that's not realistic for my family, but it doesn't, I think there's a variety of ways to do it. Even if it's just Sunday night dinners,
Yeah,
or
just
whatever.
one day. Just
Yeah,
pick one day to try to make that happen. That becomes, a ritual in and of itself. And I think a really meaningful one that the benefits far outweigh the sacrifice of what it may feel like in order to like make that one day happen. And
totally.
if you can't even do it weekly, try monthly, whatever it is. Like, you
Yeah.
can take a small step, I think, to make it happen. I love that you actually do that.
And
I
Dina,
think
in our interview recommended even setting, if you can light a candle, set the ambiance. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but,
I loved her ambiance idea. I
yeah,
think I used to do that pre-kids. I mean, we always kind of had a candle lit going. That was sort of a trend at the time, maybe. Um,
clean candle, clean candle.
well,
Not,
right. Definitely do a clean candle is important. But I like the idea of setting that ambiance because you're right. Just lighting a little something just creates an elevated experience right at home, which is really nice. I like that she gave us that advice. And you've always taught me, what is something that you use in your house to clean? Because I'm always
yes.
fascinated by your cleaning
So
situation.
actually from Dina too. Dina, who is a holistic nutritionist, also works with Young Living, but you could do this with any kind of oil, taught me that you can make your own at-home cleaners, which at first when she introduced me to it, I thought, oh God, that's such a headache. But it's actually super easy and really fulfilling because you can make whatever scents you want. I change it depending on the season. And so it's very easy. You take, you get a spray bottle, oils. I use Young Living, but any kind works for whatever you want. I use, all kinds of, whether I feel like citrusy, it can be citrus, it can be like an orange or a lemon, or you can do cloves in the winter to make it a warmer smell, or mint. Really, anything works. You put, depending on the size of the bottle, and this is all, I don't believe in exact numbers, right? Like I put in as much as I feel, but 10 to 20 drops of oil in a spray bottle, and put in then like a couple of teaspoons of alcohol. Also, depending how stringent you want it to be, you can monitor the alcohol, and then water, and mix it all together. And I use that to clean a lot of the areas of our home, spray on furniture to freshen it up.
That's
Super
it.
cheap. Yeah, that's it.
All.
No, that's it. It's super easy, super cheap, takes literally 30 seconds.
How
And
do you know that it's actually cleaning?
that's a
I
great
don't know. I feel
question.
like someone will ask that
Yeah.
question. How is it disinfecting? How is it?
Yeah, well, alcohol, right? Like you can look up how much alcohol, if you actually want to make sure in terms of disinfectant. I'm sure you could Google how much alcohol is actually necessary for that. But alcohol in itself is a disinfectant. So
Mhm.
depending on how strong you want it to be and the level, I know other people who use a much higher level of alcohol, depending on what you're using it for, right? I like to spray mine on furniture and freshen things up. So I don't want too much alcohol in there. But I know people who use it who make similar mixtures to clean their kitchen, and they want to make sure if they're cooking chicken, they're not leaving salmonella, right? So you
Right.
want more alcohol for something like that.
Right.
So, I don't know the numbers offhand, but you can easily find that out on Google, how, the ratio of water to alcohol, depending on how strong
But
you
it's
want it
worked
to
for
be.
you, so I'm sure
It
it's
has
fine.
worked.
And you have 3 kids
We
and
haven't gotten
2
salmonella
dogs.
yet, but yeah, again, this is totally, offhand experience and stuff that we're trying, but I do enjoy it, and again, I use it for a lot of things like freshening. I have clean cold cleaners in our house, which I also use. You use different things for different
Different
purposes.
purposes, yeah.
So if I am cooking with chicken, to be honest, I use the clean cold cleaner because this is their profession. This is what they do.
Mhm.
But for everyday stuff, and just, I have 2 dogs, freshening up after the dogs, I use the one that I make at home, and
So
it's
easy. Well, I'm inspired to give it a try. Oh,
very easy.
gonna
Yeah,
make my own cleaner next.
yeah. And I think I got the recipe from Young Living, from the oil company.
I'm sure they have it online if somebody
Yes,
was interested to check that out.
yes.
Um, Well, we want to wish you a very happy birthday and an amazing year ahead.
Thank
And
you. Yes,
even though
hoping to have dinner with my family for my birthday. That's
there we go. You have to send us a picture.
that's the best present. Yep.
It
Thank you so
is.
much.
Thank you for joining us on the mini drop. Please follow, subscribe to our podcast and help to spread the word. Share it with a friend who needs to hear this. And you can also follow us at the WellDrop. DM us anytime. We love to hear from you and learn what you're struggling with so we can cover it too. See you on
Thank
the next
you.
episode.